Alrighty. In talking with Eric about stuff we talk about on this channel with
Many times.
with Star Wars and Star Trek, he brought up a point that we still have a reverence, a love for Star Trek, even though Star Trek's been done wrong since 2007.
Yeah.
It's been fucked like Caligula's watermelon, or not favorite watermelon, and
not favorite one.
yeah,
Oh,
and how Star Wars has been equally fucked with, KK's dick and the Magic Cowboy and Bobby. Thanks, you dumb fuckers. And where Star Wars is a more science fiction fantasy,
yeah.
Star Trek was more of a optimistic look at the future. And since Eric brought this up, go away.
Yeah, I mean, really, Star Wars and Star Trek are different. I don't understand how some people get them confused or lump them into the same category, because they're not the same at all.
No.
Star Wars takes place in a galaxy far, far away.
And a long, long ago.
A long, long time ago, yes. There's no future of man or the human condition. Well, there is the human condition in Star Wars, but it's not the same. Star Trek is a look at the future of man, very idealistic and optimistic look.
Now, there are people that say that Star Trek is propaganda.
I could see that, but it's bullshit.
That's another video, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day, man.
Yeah.
No, it's not propaganda, but it is
Idealistic.
Yes, very idealistic and
Is it simplistic?
optimistic. And
Could it be
in some ways it's simplistic, yes.
Okay.
But see, in the classic TOS, it was almost like it was slipped in
Well, yeah, because
under the...
Roddenberry was a propagandist.
Yes.
He even said it.
Yes.
And a sexist and a womanizer, and wanting to have the turned over pineapples. And for you people that know what the upside down pineapples are, I don't gonna say more.
But Andy was not known to be the most honest individual.
Yeah.
I mean, he was not the
Paragon?
the paragon of humanity that was portrayed on his series. That's not the still
not the point.
No, he did incorporate that into the series.
Yeah.
In ways that were kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
Which he was kind of a sneaky guy.
Yeah.
But
you were getting
to his credit, though, he did that. Who he was not reflected in the series.
So there wasn't a self-insert unless it was a bad guy.
No.
Unless it was a misogynistic.
Harry Mudd.
Maybe Riker was a self-insert.
Probably the closest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, by the time they got to the Next Generation, he saw an opportunity to self-insert somehow.
There you go.
Because prior to that, there was no such thing.
Yeah.
And he really didn't want to self-insert.
Yeah.
Because he was not
don't say Harry
an example of what he was trying to portray on the series. And anyway, enough about that. The reverence and the love of Star Trek is still out there.
But what you said was interesting. You talked about how since 1972.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and it had been on syndication since 1972. I remember it being on in syndication in the 1990s, and when it stopped,
you're right.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons most of the stars of Star Trek couldn't get work in the 70s, was because Star Trek was still on TV constantly.
Yeah.
Everywhere. All over the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And they were all still associated with that series, which was still on the air, but they were not being paid for it.
Right.
And so they were all bitter and jaded and
sorry
they ever were part of it until conventions kicked in and they started making personal appearances and getting paid for being on Star Trek. And then the movies. And they went from washed-up has-been TV stars to full-blown movie stars.
Movie stars.
Hey, keep on trekking, man.
Yeah. I was flipping through YouTube, as I do. As you say, I live on YouTube. And Art Bell had a radio interview with Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, dude, I never heard that.
Oh, yeah. I'll send it to you.
Okay, I'll get a story about Art Bell. Go ahead, finish.
No. I just thought it was interesting that and he just totally went into.
Yeah.
He was such a Trekkie.
No, me and my first wife, we used to listen to Art Bell to go to sleep.
Well, that's what my dad would listen to.
Because it was late night talk,
and I would listen
radio.
to it, and I'm like, is this really shit you should be listening to at night?
And no, but we had a clock radio that would play for an hour with a timer, and so we'd set the. And one night I was like half asleep, and we're listening to it, and all of a sudden I heard George Takei's voice.
Oh.
And I'm like, it brought me out of my sleep. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is George Takei doing in the Art Bell show?
If you're sleeping and you hear George Takei's voice, I would be concerned if you didn't wake. Oh, mine.
But he was on promoting this webisode that he had done for the Star Trek.
Yeah,
the New Voyages. Yeah. Not the Continues, but the other one, the New Voyages. And that was the first I'd ever heard of any of that webisode stuff, fan stuff. And it was on the Art Bell show of all places. And George talking about how he was, had just wrapped on that webisode. So
do you think it's because it was in the lexicon more often instead of?
Well, this would have been in.
Well, yeah, the 90s or. 2000s.
Oh no! This would have been
early
in 09.
Okay.
No, late 08. Yeah. Middle summer fall of 08.
Okay. No, but
it's associated with something else. But
Star Trek TV being on TV.
Oh yeah.
Instead of Star Wars being on, it was an event to go see the movie.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why there's a different?
Well, there's a difference too in that the Star Trek series was a series with so much more content, and all we had for Star Wars was just the 3 movies.
And the Alan Dean Foster book.
And that, which I read when I was a kid, yes.
He winced.
But Star Wars eventually became the biggest franchise.
Yeah.
Because, for years there, Paramount was sitting on the biggest science fiction franchise in the world, and they didn't know what to do with it.
Still doesn't know what to do with it.
Right. And so Star Wars actually took over the top spot there.
By default? Because which is better? Seriously. Brass ticky tacks, gun to your head.
Better? Or which do you prefer? I mean, better is kind of subjective.
Well, yes, but to quantify it in a mathematical formula, which is technically better?
Star Trek, man.
Yeah.
Keep on trekking. Star Trek lives. All that.
Is it because of the gear porn, or because for me, I can field strip a class from Warp Core.
It is the gear porn plus the humanistic thing. Star Wars.
It's a melodrama.
It's about another culture.
Yeah.
It's not us.
Yeah.
Even though there's human actors playing the characters, it's just a fucking movie.
Yeah.
But they're not us.
It's aliens.
They're not humans.
They're all aliens.
They're not from Earth like us. They're not Earthlings.
Yeah.
They're human, but they're not Earthlings.
Yeah.
Star Trek is about Earthlings, which is more relatable
to Earthers.
To Earthers, yes.
Terrans, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, right?
And even with the state that Star Trek has been in for recent years, I think it could still go through a revival and
Renaissance
and get good again. I mean,
it has to be, but it has to be something with people who actually love it.
No,
and like real Star Trek, not this crap from 07 on.
But I mean, even
Metalis included.
Even with the issues that it has, Strange New Worlds is moving that direction. It could just be.
I'm sorry, the Gorn thing is kind of.
The Gorn thing is what it is, but
and the singing Klingons and
the whole vibe of it though is very much like people who really do love Star Trek and are really trying to do their best at giving.
But it's still not good enough.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Like I say, even with the issues that it has, it is something that
it's at least tried.
It's trying, and I hope that it would lead to
better,
more of that,
better,
but more of it.
Yeah.
and not so much in that whole
SJW, social justice,
Kurtzman Trek
bullshit
thing, right? Because it is part of the Kurtzman Trek. It's a spinoff.
Yeah, so that's why automatically it just gets a no.
Right, but it's not. It's no Discovery, and it is. It with even with the, like I say, with the issues, I like it more in spite of myself than I should. I think I really do like it. I like Anson Mount, especially as Pike. He's really good.
He's a bad person.
He's really good at Pike though, and I like Spock. I had to warm up to him, but I like him, and even Uhura, being the
isn't she the fat girl
ensign that she is, and
she's a fat girl, huh?
She's
a little thick.
She's a little BBW, maybe.
Oh, wow!
But no, she's because
that is not Michelle Nichols. Those abs. I'm sorry.
Well, she'll grow into that, maybe. I mean, come on, maybe it's baby fat. Whatever. I'm not tripping on that, But seeing Uhura in at this time in her career, and it makes sense that she would have served with Pike before Kirk took over the command. And
no, she wasn't in the pilot. Michelle Nichols wasn't in the pilot.
No, Uhura wasn't in the original pilot, but we're gonna get
in one of the early episodes. I did see her in the old uniform. Wasn't she? Was it Where No Man Has Gone Before, or was it? Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, no, I think she was in Where No Man Has Gone Before, but it was a yellow.
But it was a yellow old, but the different style.
But it was the with that different collar.
Yeah.
Yes. No, she was in.
But yeah, that's where
she wasn't in the original pilot. No, but
yeah.
It would stand to reason that most of the crew, especially the senior officers, served with Pike and just made the transition over to Kirk, with the exception of McCoy.
Yeah. Shit, they went through 2 doctors before they got to McCoy.
Right. So he was,
and I see those other doctors on also Gunsmoke and Laramie and all this shit. I'm
like, right.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. I don't know what to think of what season 4 is bringing, because we're getting Scotty, and I don't think we need Scotty. But we'll see what season 4 brings.
So back to the question.
But I mean, so as far as the production design and the props and the way everything looks and the way it all feels, it does feel like Star Trek. If it was produced right now today, but it is still missing some things, especially the deeper, like, underlying morality plays.
Because they couldn't write them to save their lives.
Because they don't know how to write that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's very
blunt.
Yeah, and it's
superficial.
Superficial, yes.
You mean just like them?
Yeah. So it could be better, but I think Star Trek could make a comeback.
As for Star
Wars, especially with the sale of it, and
it's if it, CBS is trying to fuck that up, but
whatever. We just lose Kurtzman and get somebody in there who knows what the fuck he's doing, and
not Metalis, because he doesn't. He is of the SJW brand, therefore should be run out of Hollywood.
No, man. Anyway.
So how does that? So
it's just,
still with that, how does that make it still better than Star Wars? Just saying, because Star Wars has a lot more content now.
Yes,
but it's not good content,
which is just as superficial as
annoying as Kurtzman Trek.
Because if you look at the classic trilogy, I mean, come on, the original first
Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. Don't call them 4, 5, and 6. Well, don't do it.
I was about to. But
yeah, I know.
But those, there's a whole lot in them, okay? It's not us, it's not human, it's not Earthers, whatever, but it's still a classic mythological hero's journey.
And
which was by design. Yes. Lucas set out to
So is
on
it
top of the homage to the
old
Flash
sci-fi
Gordons and
yeah.
all that other stuff.
So was the hatred for the white man in Hollywood after the Me Too movement, is that what killed Star Wars?
It impacted it.
Impacted it. It fucking totaled it.
Yeah.
It totaled it. Because I don't see how you can do anything with it right now. It either has to go away or it has to be sold off. Because these fucks don't know what they're doing with it. Magic Cowboy should be strung up and put in one of those cages in that church. Anyway. And no, they and all that stuff needs to be expunged from reality. It's just
all of it is it
is not Star Wars.
It's not grounded in like anything that was intended or
and you don't have to have Luke and Leia and the family, which was the focus of the 6 movies.
No, it was the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
You could tell other stories that have nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Right.
And they're trying and they're failing miserably.
Because they still they're still holding on.
They can't. And they think that fans are still holding on to that. Like, ooh, they just want Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie.
But isn't Andor actually proof, and to a degree,
fucking it is.
Crew, a proof that you don't need?
Both of them.
Yeah. You don't need the Skywalkers.
No. You don't need them.
And I don't want Ahsoka, and I don't fucking want any of this other bullshit garbage.
No, Andor, man. Wow, it was just awesome. And more of that, please. But who's going to bring it to us?
Nobody.
I mean, Tony Gilroy, what more does he have? He gave us the best he could give us, and it was awesome. And I'm so glad he did it.
Yeah.
And showed us that setting could be the setting for like a serious, gritty story like that.
And I'm going to say it could be even better than Star Trek if they did it right.
Yeah. And Scud and Crew, same thing, man. For a lighthearted, just romp.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars galaxy, you can do both.
Yeah.
They don't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so fucking serious and blah, blah, blah as Andor to have fun with it. Just let it be fun, man.
Yeah.
Like we say, just quit
preaching. Quit preaching to people who aren't going to fucking join your church.
Yeah, because we don't need all that in our
I don't care.
Star Trek and our Star Wars.
I don't care if you got the saffron or whatever. Not my problem. I just want good TV, good Star Wars, good Star Trek.
You can address those things without being so overtly just blatantly
superficial and unintelligent about it,
and
showing how bad of a writer you are,
and purposeful with it.
Yeah,
it's like I said, man.
Because remember what Hank said: thinking leads to overthinking.
Right.
Just get people to think. That's all you got to do.
We're almost done, but I mean, I'm going to say about the trans hero in Supergirl. That was actually very well done, very well treated. An example of something that, is how it should be done.
Was it a dude dressed up as a girl or a girl dressed up as a guy?
It was a girl who was born male, but was a female. It should have been female, and acquired the powers that were handed down from mother to daughter, and nobody expected her to get the powers because she was a guy. She was a he at the time. You're not a real woman. And the older sister was the one who was expected to get the powers, and that
didn't happen.
Yeah, that was and it was really well done.
You could have done a Rama half with it or something, and
it wasn't so much that it was just messaging. It was just that's just who this girl was, and it was that's how it's just an example. See it for yourself. Besides that, I think people are just more inclined to hang on to Star Trek because it's about us. We can let go of Star Wars because it's a galaxy far, far away. And
in an old time, in the long, long ago.
Right.
Alrighty, tell us what you think. Like, share, subscribe.